Hey guys, we're here at Lyfe Motorsports. For those of you who don't know, they're responsible for some absolutely nutty R35 time attack cars, including their newest one being a diesel. Now, for those of you that also don't know, Lyfe and Rally Sport Direct kind of have a long history with each other. The founder of Lyfe actually worked at a bicycle shop with the founder of Rally Sport when he was about 13 years old. And then some years later, we ended up being in adjacent buildings as well. So without further ado, you're about to meet the man I'm talking about, and he'll take us on a little tour.
Okay, you want me to take you on a tour?
Oh yeah.
Okay, welcome to Lyfe Motorsport. Let's go take a look around.
Right off the bat, you're greeted with this.
Pretty good start, huh?
Oh my god, dude.
Got a couple legends in the house. RWB, of course, pretty well-known name in the Japanese tuning culture, and then you've got the Sierra Time Attack Evo, one of the OG Time Attack cars, one of the most famous U.S. Time Attack cars ever. So keep these front and center so people can see what we're all about when they get here.
Now, you said this one was built in the headquarters?
This just finished at headquarters about a year ago. It debuted at the Tokyo Auto Salon show last January 2022. Shortly after that, I acquired it and put it on a boat, shipped it over, picked up in Long Beach, and it lives here now.
Did you hire a port agent?
I had to hire everybody, pay all the fees, do all the things, and yeah, it was...
Okay, one big question I always have about RWBs. Is this functional?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It guides air into the engine bay. The engine gobbles the air up, so
yeah.
that's about as functional as it gets.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I wish it was
function.
feeding like a big turbo.
Right.
No such luck yet.
Oh, so turbo plans eventually?
Always. I'll ruin any car if you give me enough time and money. So just haven't got either of those two ingredients yet.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Okay. This is probably a bit more of a famous thing here at the shop. Sierra cars. So some people don't know still that Lyfe and Sierra cars are associated, but this is the brainiac behind all of them. So.
Hardly. This is a Sierra car. This is something that we've designed, engineered, and built in-house here at Lyfe Motorsport. So it was something to take the talented people who work here and do something a little bit different. So it's a purpose-built race car. We built from the ground up from a tube chassis. This one we're putting together for a customer who just bought it. So we use a Suzuki Hayabusa engine, put it through a gear transfer system here to drive out to the wheels. You can race on asphalt and dirt, kind of anywhere you want. It's a super versatile, lightweight, single-seat vehicle. So you can see the extreme version up there, the Sierra Alpha. That's something that we've been doing the Pikes Peak hill climb with each year. Lots of power, lots of downforce, and it's just one of the baddest cars I've ever had the pleasure of driving. So it was all created right here in this shop.
How long would it take for an owner to convert it from an asphalt setup to a dirt setup, or vice versa?
It's just a wheel and tire combo.
Wow.
So it's meant to be as simple as possible. Wow. Sure, you can tweak out on the suspension and make it perfect, but I can put paddle tires on that car right now and go out to the sand dunes.
Wow.
So there's nothing stopping me from being able to do that. So having one car that you can kind of do all the different disciplines of motorsport with is kind of ideal, especially being here in Utah. We have great asphalt road course, we have great deserts, we have snow, and I want to play in all of those things with the same car. So yeah, versatility is the name of the game, and just a super good driving experience. It's all driver focused, and it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Okay. All right, so tell us a little bit about this project in development.
This is just all of our leftover Sierra parts. So we've done a couple of different generations of Sierra. This is Gen 1 car with a generation of suspension we weren't happy with, and it looked like a sled.
Yeah.
It started to snow. I wanted to go sledding, so went over, bought some water skis, had the guys weld it up, bolted on, and we sent it down a big hill. So unfortunately that day we lost one of our skis, big accident.
Oh, you got it? Oh, he got it.
I got
Oh,
the
wow.
ski, so
Okay.
it bottomed out a couple times, went way faster than we wanted to, and that thing just
I
blew
don't know if
off.
that will work.
But it was a lot of fun while it lasted, and so we're going to go to V2. We're going to put some suspension on it, and put skis on the outside, on the back, maybe some mini snowboards, something like that, and do some extreme sledding. So that's V2.
Oh. Thrift store skis too.
Yeah,
very
buddy.
nice, very nice.
$25, hard to beat it.
Yeah.
And they're on. Water skis are on sale in the winter too. So in case you wanted to pick up a set. So this is Sydney. This is kind of the crown jewel of the shop.
Oh, she has a name.
It has a name. The first race we went to was in Sydney, Australia with this car.
Oh,
in fact,
okay.
when we went, the car wasn't even done yet. We finished it in Australia. Showed up a couple of weeks before the race. World Time Attack Challenge. And we've been racing a previous R35 GTR, that one, which was originally the Cobb Tuning Time Attack car from back in the day. So we scrapped that chassis, said we're done with this, we're going to do an extreme Time Attack version of that chassis, and Sydney was born in Sydney, Australia. So we finished it up down there. We've been running in Time Attack events all over the US, even outside of the States. It's been to Pikes Peak. It's been most of the major Time Attack tracks in North America. It's got some production car track records under its belt, and a lot of experience and a lot of evolution. So yeah, this is one of the first big builds that we have here at Lyfe Motorsport.
Right. What made you decide to take the risk and run it on Australia's first time?
I'm
just
stupid.
World Time Attack?
Yeah, it's World Time Attack. It's the biggest one. So we were doing Time Attack events.
Right.
And I got a hold of the organizer in 2013 and said, hey, I want to come drive Time Attack cars. And he's like, oh, mate, you got a lot of work to do. So he said, go build a proper car. Because the car that we had previous was not up to the task. So we built a proper car, hired a guy named Andrew Brilliant to handle the aerodynamics, designed it, and the complete new from scratch build was set up. So yeah, we knew we wanted to go and do that race, and we wanted to continue to do it. So if you always worry about not being prepared enough, you sometimes don't take that risk.
Right.
That ain't me. I just take the risk and then try to get as prepared as possible in time. So we had a great team, got it down there, finished the car, finished the event. It was plenty of drama. There's YouTube videos about that whole experience, and so if you want to check it out, every event we've ever done in this car is on YouTube, so you can go and check out.
I think I'll definitely link some of those.
Yeah, it's got quite the history, quite the story, and it's constantly evolving.
Your media team always puts together a good film.
I wish we had a whole team. It's just one dude, Judson. Yeah, just give it up for Judson.
Yeah, I feel this pain.
Yeah, no, he's a rock star. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, and traveled around with us the whole time, and helped capture all the history behind this car. And it's just it's a pleasure to have it at the shop. The owner of the car, his name's Kyle. He's given us a lot of opportunities to build the car, to go and chase these records and chase these dreams, and I hope to have this car around me for the rest of my life.
It's one of those forevers, huh?
Yeah. There's two more over there. So if I can hold on to 3 cars for the rest of my life, it's the RWB, Sierra, and Sydney. So these are my girls. Narrower than stock tire, believe it or not, and it's
narrower than stock.
Yeah. Had to run a 295 on it, but it comes with like a 315 or whatever
so
from the factory. So
did you have like big old spacers on it for the track width, or you just?
Yeah, it looks stupid.
I see.
Yeah, it's
what size of spacer, if you remember?
Those are the rules. Yeah, like 40 mil, 45.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
It was a chunk.
So basically, some chunks of aluminum on every corner.
Yeah, and that was also we had to run a different wheel because the wheel was narrower, and so it was like. It was, those are the rules. That's what it was. We knew the car would never be super competitive at World Time Attack because you don't run on a slick. You run on like a DOT style tire.
Right.
And now they're allowing slicks this next year for the very first time.
Oh,
so
really?
We'd
going back out there?
Yeah, I'd love to. This isn't the year for us. We got some other things we're working on, but I'll definitely be back at World Time Attack. Hopefully driving another car. But Sydney will go back. It's that's where she was born.
Yeah, that's where she started.
It only feels right.
Yeah. Gotta go full circle, right?
Exactly. So we'll go back in the future and be able to run slicks. And yeah, it's I think we finished 5th or something like that. We're the fastest R35 to ever run down there.
Really? Your first time?
Yeah. So as far as big heavy cars go,
that's an accomplishment.
We did all right, but yeah, there's definitely more that we could put down today.
Oh, so there's a dude in Australia that let you borrow an engine.
To get through the
let you
event.
borrow an engine.
We were out of money. We spent all of the money to get down there and do the thing. It was like, hey, we need an engine, but we don't have money. And this dude was like, well, I have this junkyard engine. I got it out of a wrecked car. You're welcome to use that. So the team thrashed through the night, put the stock engine in, and we made it through the event. I don't recommend doing it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, when there's no other options.
Yeah, we don't quit.
You still got the guy's number though, right?
Oh yeah, he just bought a Dodge Viper.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm his American friend. So
gotcha.
Anytime I can pay back the favor, I do. So his name's Brian. He's a good dude.
Wow. I mean, yeah, to let you borrow an engine, I definitely define that as a good dude.
Yeah, and then ship it across the world, hoping that we'd send it back.
Yeah.
And that was our first year. Nobody knew us at that point.
Right.
And I've been back 4 times since then, and got a lot of great friends down there. I love the event. It is world-class time attack, and it's pretty special to be a part of that and have such a great community of time attackers that all support each other. It's hard to find that at a lot of race paddocks.
Yeah. Wing, is this something somebody makes, or is this something?
Yeah, well, we should be making this going forward. So this is a giant, like over 2 meter long rear wing triple element, all of the downforce that you could ever want.
I mean, this is a whole park bench.
It is.
Fit a whole family.
You can truly lay up there. There's a great photo of me and my favorite time attack guy. His name's Under Suzuki. Sitting on the back of the wing, and we're cheersing sake and just having a grand old time. So yeah, it fits you and all your friends on this park bench.
Wow.
That's what we call the Freedom Tunnel.
The Freedom Tunnel.
So we're the American team, right? So you got to be an annoying American when you go to foreign places, so people know where you're from.
Gotta be a patriot.
So this is the tunnel that goes all the way to the back of the engine.
Holy crap.
So it helps with cooling, aerodynamic purposes, and it goes all the way through the cockpit. So the whole center of the car has this tunnel that runs through it all the way to the back of the engine. So yeah, it's a kind of a signature piece on this car and unique way to help with downforce and help with cooling. And yeah, we've got a couple radiators here in the back on each side for like extra cooling capacity. And then the world's biggest wing.
Wow.
Right now everything's under construction.
Oh, it's like a Tesla handle.
Yeah,
there you go.
basically.
It's a freaking Tesla.
So fuel cell, fire system, power steering, oil sump tank, battery, fuel pump controller, 2 shots of Jaeger, cheeseburger. It's just everything extra.
Everything you need in the race.
Yeah. Yeah, not on this girl. It's a rear transaxle, so there's actually a lot of weight over the rear wheels.
Oh,
also.
really? Wow.
So, we've got the whole transmission, rear differential back there. We've got the 2 big radiators back here. Factory subframes that's bolt to the factory locations.
Olin's with.
Yeah, 4-way adjustable Owens. We've got brake pressure sensors on all 4 corners and shock potentiometers, so we can measure shock travel and shock speeds.
Man.
Yeah, we had a power steering failure at the last event. We got the win at Buttonwillow a few weeks ago, but I was trying to go even faster, and the power steering failed and went off track, so it damaged the floor of the car. So the guys had the floor off and repaired it and get it all fixed up again. So fingers crossed we can be back to COTA, the F1 track in Texas in March.
Yep. Wow. All right, shall we move on to the newest GTR?
Yeah.
Well, most recently used, right?
Yeah, while we're talking GTRs, this was the Cobb Tuning time attack car from back in the day. We kind of scrapped it. It ran Pikes Peak 2015 is the first car I ever ran there. And we parked it in the corner when we did the dedicated time attack build. And just sitting there, couldn't think of a good reason to use it. Talking to a good friend of mine who owns Riff Raff Diesel based out of Oregon. And we were talking about Pikes Peak and the diesel record, and I had this R35. I was like, that'd be funny if we put a diesel in an R35. And then that turned into an April Fool's joke, which got really serious, and here we are. We just ran it at Pikes Peak this past year. Ran into some engine oil supply issues on race day, so didn't make it to the top, unfortunately, but we're working to alleviate that right now. So yeah, this car has lived a very interesting life. from the team at Cobb Tuning to winning a 6-hour endurance race that no other all-wheel drive GTR has ever run, and we won it overall. And then it went to Pikes Peak,
Right.
and then it was retired, and then it came back to life. Go figure.
Well, want to tell them how you applied at Cobb as a floor sweeper?
I did apply at Cobb as a floor sweeper, and I got denied.
And got denied. Well, look at
Damn
him now,
you, Trey.
Cobb.
Yeah. No, it's Trey was a great influence on me and a great mentor as a young kid. And of course, I was bummed I didn't get the job, but it was like, you got to keep moving, right?
Yep,
so
always do.
I went off to school. I became a mechanic, and yeah, I think they'd hire me now.
Yeah, probably. I don't doubt it.
I think I could go.
You could probably go sweep floors.
I'm friends with a lot of those guys still
Right.
to this day, and it's just kind of a funny thing because they do have such good Utah roots. But
Right.
yeah, it did.
Why did
I
you
was
move
bummed.
to Texas?
Taxes and taxes.
Everything's bigger in Texas
No,
except
it's-
for taxes.
Yeah, there's exactly better taxes. There were some incentives to moving back there, and I know Trey's family had some ties there as well.
I
so
see.
yeah, it's a good place to do business. Bad place for weather.
Okay, now engineering related question. How's diesel do at that kind of high altitude?
Well, once it's on boost, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Off boost, it's awful. It's like the
roller
worst
coaster.
thing you could ever do. And so, you know, of course, factory diesel trucks, they'll fire up there, and they'll run, but it ain't pretty.
Right.
So, and that's with the best Ford engineers, like the best that they could do. So that's one of the things that we're fighting is having how do we make good power when we're on all the boost, but how do we get the thing to actually spool up in the first place? And people make the joke, rolling coal. My name's Cole. I'm driving a diesel GTR. It happens, right? But I'm not into it. I don't I don't want to hurt the environment. I don't want to make
Right.
a bunch of black smoke, and it's just kind of a side effect of tuning that
I'm
stuff
sure somebody's
in.
rolled coal on you in traffic, right?
It's
it
happened.
sucks.
It's a
I
thing.
hate it.
I'm not
I
into
hate
it.
Nope.
So it gave the whole diesel world a bad name, and we're not about that by any means. So trying to have the most efficient, most powerful vehicle up there to go after the diesel record is really what we're trying to do. But it's hard, man. We don't have a team of Ford engineers to sit there and work with us and
Right.
an unlimited budget. So we're a relatively small team, and we're just doing the best we can with what we've got. And it's I can tell you that I'm so happy with how the car worked when
Right.
it was working good. It's like there's a lot of potential. It makes me
Right.
really, really happy that it is so close already. But there's work to be done. That's why it's here in the shop and torn apart, and nothing to do but make improvements. And we're
Right.
going after that diesel record. You hear that? We're going after that diesel
Yep,
record. We're going
he's
to try
getting
again.
that diesel record.
2023. We're getting it. So. Yeah, I'm really excited to go back to Pikes Peak with this thing, and it's been an engineering dream and nightmare.
Yeah,
It's a dream
yeah.
because we get to do something so cool, but it's a nightmare because there's not enough time and money to ever do all the things that you want to do. But funny story about this: when this was the Cobb car, this was like the first R35 I was ever around.
Right.
And then they turned it into a race car, right? And then I'm hanging around the shop, crawling underneath it, looking at all the widgets. I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Never in my life did I think, hey, 10 years from now, you're going to be driving this thing at Pikes Peak.
Yeah, building your own GTRs.
Yeah, never would have
Crazy.
thought. So yeah, don't give up on your dreams, kids.
Nope, never
just
do.
a mechanic from a small town in Utah, you can do it too. It's you just got to keep showing up. So definitely got a lot of memories with this car, and look forward to setting records and doing some really cool stuff that nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, I mean, to your knowledge, is this the first diesel swap GTR? Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
There's a guy in Canada that put a diesel in like an R32, it wasn't a GTR. And it does some burnouts and whatever,
Right.
he's cruising around with it, but this is a little bit different. This is purpose built. We want to do Pikes Peak, we want to do some other time attack events. We talked about some land speed stuff, so really being able to pioneer the power stroke into some different territories and do it in kind of a wild fashion.
Right.
You think there's not very many cars that a big diesel engine will fit into.
Yep.
R35 fits the bill. Look at it between the frame rails.
Literally, what, 2 millimeters? Maybe?
If that. And we have to shim it perfectly side to side. Like it's It's super tight.
So I'm guessing it's on completely solid metal mounts, right?
Yeah. No.
Because any sort of rock would
give,
just beat that frame rail to death,
and
right?
I don't even want to know how hot those frame rails are getting. So
yeah.
It's we really couldn't do this with any other platform of sports car, you know. But an R35 is already dimensionally big, and so it was just kind of when we scanned the engine and had the scan of the chassis and we put it together, we're like, no way, it fits.
No way.
It really fits. Because we thought we were going to have to cut the whole nose off.
Right.
And that's a whole another
refabricate everything.
issue. But this has factory subframes, front and rear.
Wow.
Like, see this white line sway bar? You just order a white line sway bar for an R35.
Jeez,
and it goes
that
right
is
up.
thick though.
Yeah, it's a thick boy.
What is that, 30 something mil?
I don't know, 97 and a half.
Jesus.
So
Man,
we tried to keep Nissan did a good job with this car. So many of those parts and pieces that we didn't have to re-engineer.
Right.
All the suspension stuff is off the shelf, R35 stuff. I think it's all off the shelf. Yeah. Slightly different rotors, but the brakes are factory calipers, front and rear.
Right. Yeah, just growing up as a kid, I never imagined diesel in the motorsport world, and then, Audi did the impossible. They brought a long car with a diesel in it.
I was at Sebring when they debuted that first diesel
Really?
Audi.
What are they, I think they were R18?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think it was just the R8.
R8?
I think.
Interesting.
R10 maybe. But the mind-blowing thing when I was there at Sebring when they debuted that car was you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
All you heard is
Yep.
just you heard the air rushing over the bodywork
Right.
and a little bit of the tires and the brakes.
Yep.
Like you didn't hear the engine. It was
The
so
engine,
quiet and it was just like boom, boom, boom. It was so fast, so reliable.
And I mean, I forget how many years in a row they won Le Mans with that thing, but I'm gonna guess it was like 6 or 7.
Many years.
Yeah.
They did a really good job. So,
Porsche came in, your favorite car brand.
yeah.
And now
It's
they're-
Audi's little brother, Porsche
Yeah.
lets Audi dress up and go play race car, but
Yep.
everybody knows Porsche is So we took a lot of the same parts that are on Sydney to put on this car. So this actually shares the same rear wing, unfortunately. We're working on building another one. Same giant front splitter, rear bumper. We did the same style half doors where we just cut the door off. We have a duct up in the roof that feeds the rear cooling system, and there's even more cooling on this than that. So it's a pretty wild build. I'd say it's of even a higher caliber than that. We had years to perfect our craft and get better. So this is an extremely well-built car that showcases a lot of the talents in the shop.
Right.
So this is the Sierra Alpha. This is the baddest Sierra that we make, turbocharged Hayabusa engine. Makes about 450 wheel horsepower, weighs 1,500 pounds. So you see it's got big wings on it. It's really set up for Pikes Peak hill climb. This is the fastest two-wheel drive car to ever do Mount Washington hill climb. It's in the sub 10-minute club at Pikes Peak. It's done a number of different races, and it's my baby. I love this thing. So it was created right here in this shop by a lot of talented people. So this car didn't not exist, not one part on it really exist outside of this, what it is today. I guess you can go on eBay and buy these motorcycle mirrors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything else is pretty much custom, built from scratch. So this is kind of our flagship car, and it's done a lot of racing. It's been on Hoonigan, this versus that. It's got some
It
records.
was on this versus that? What did it race against?
I raced Scotto in his brand new C8 Corvette.
Oh.
Smoked his ass. Too.
Smoked his ass?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I beat him in that black naturally aspirated car too. But
Really?
This really.
I mean, the power to weight is, if you're
Yeah.
talking pounds per horsepower.
And that's with the wings on too. You take the wings off, it goes even faster. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I'm not into drag racing. It's cool to know how fast your car goes in a straight line, but I'm a driver.
corners. Yeah,
I want to turn some
you
corners.
prefer turning the
so,
steering wheel.
yeah, this has been quite the experience to have this thing.
Wow.
What do I do? So we went to Mount Washington, also super cool hill climb. It's technically older than Pikes Peak. It started longer ago, and I was able to finish right behind Travis Pastrana
Oh, wow.
in his factory Subaru effort. So The second fastest person ever at Mount Washington behind Pastrana is, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And again, it's a car that we built right here in the shop in Utah, so achieving big dreams on a large scale out of a relatively small shop. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I sat in one of the cheaper ones, and I was surprised. Like I have more headroom, like roof clearance from my noggin, than like in your average sedan nowadays.
Well, I'm a pretty tall guy too, so we need to accommodate that. And the newer cars are even a little bit bigger, so there's tons of versatility from engine options to size to wheels and tires that you want to put on it. And yeah, I want everybody to feel the way that I feel when I drive these things. It shouldn't just be the rich and the elite that get access to the best cars in the world. You know, I wanted something that does all those same things, but you know, regular people like a mechanic can afford to go and do or build for themselves. And that's I didn't want to dilute the driving experience, but be able to make it more accessible to people. So I do a driving experience in these cars. $500, you can come out and drive it. Yeah. So, you know, you don't have to own it, buy it. You don't even have to buy a welder. Just come out and drive our cars and get the experience.
To those of you watching, I have a proposition. Fly out to Utah, buy yourself an experience ticket, buy me an experience ticket, and we'll go have some fun.
I'll tell you what, if you buy one, just put his name down and he drives for free. So all it takes is one person to make his dreams come true.
Come on, somebody do it!
I don't know, you want to hit...
This is a Subaru thing.
This is a Subaru thing. What do people do with their Subarus? They ruin them with all these cool parts. And everybody does it. I've done it like 9 times myself.
How many Subarus have you owned? 9?
9 Subarus.
Wow, 9 Subarus.
That I actually owned. I probably had like 20 pass through my hands.
Oh, I see.
So this is a guy, Sean Murphy. He has a Time Attack STI, and this is here for a carbon fiber repair. So he found the limits and wore a splitter out down there. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Wah, wah, wah. So he's got Mark here fixing up the carbon fiber on it. So just going back on that Time Attack Subaru and get him back on track for this next season. So just race, break, fix, repeat.
Yep.
Theater.
The McLaren F1 of go-karts. Well, big go-karts at least.
This is the McLaren F1 for off-road. The Sierra Tango is what we're calling it. It's going to be the same single seat in the front, but you're going to be able to carry 2 additional passengers. So the Sierra experience has always been about the driver, and so keeping the driver focused up front is the first step, but you want to bring your homies along for a ride, so a couple passenger seats for them. We'll use a Honda K24 in the back. We're using some of the latest 2022 Polaris Razor parts. They went to a 5x114 bolt pattern now.
Oh, wow.
So all the cool wheels and stuff
wheels.
is available to us. So we're taking everything that we learned over 5 years of doing Sierra stuff and taking some of the existing components to create the Sierra Tango. So more fun for you and your friends, lots of power.
Different engine, right?
Different engine, a little same amount of suspension travel, so it's still going to be like a rally car. You're going to have decent ground clearance. You're going to be able to spin a decent sized tire. And if you know anything about a K series, it's like, how much power do you want to make?
Yeah,
the sky's the limit.
So make 1200, fine. Want to make stock 300? You know.
Exactly. So it'll be good from NA to crazy turbo builds. And you know, this is the same steering rack that we've used for years. All the suspension is going to be pretty much the same in the front, but just make it a little bit more versatile and maybe some room for your groceries and your friends.
Yep.
So really excited about this one. It should look tough.